I think they're kind of similar because both of them are fleeing their country for whatever reasons. They need a new home.
The difference between a refugee and a migrant is that a refugee is escaping from some kind of strife, and a migrant is just leaving to find a better life. So there's not anything necessarily pushing the migrant out, but a refugee is escaping from some kind of danger in their lives and trying to find a safer place to be.
Well, the first one is like against your choice, and migrant is you go there willingly. The other, you're forced to leave where you're going.
A refugee goes to another country because they're in danger or there's a war in their country, while an immigrant comes to make a different life for themselves, and they don't really have to be in danger.
The difference between a refugee and an immigrant is I actually don't think there's really a difference, except an immigrant might just go to leave their own country for their own purpose instead of running away from the country's problem.
Not really sure right now. I know they're, bombing some areas and so forth, but for the most part, I haven't watched the news, so I'm not sure.
Europe is responding to the crisis. At first, I think they were very welcoming, and then now that there's been the terror attacks and things, they've been a little bit more reticent to let people in, and so I think that that's changing their view of accepting refugees into the European Union.
I feel like it's kind of a passive aggressive approach, if that makes sense, to where they're taking an account but they're not really doing a huge effort to change anything, yet they're trying to in slight ways, just nothing dramatic.
I know a lot of European countries are closing down their borders to protect themselves, so yeah.
They can do a lot of things, but it's difficult in the situation just because they're not sure if the refugees are going to hurt us or just be with us.
The United States, to help, what can we do is we are going to let some of them into the United States. The problem is trying to check all those people to see if they're safe for us to accept, because we don't want to accept a bunch of dangerous people into the United States and then have something similar to what happened in Paris happen here. So it's going to be a difficult process, but we need to try to help our neighbors because these people are suffering, and it is a dangerous place to live in Syria and the Middle East right now.
Oh. I feel like we should let's get directly into more of support the front runners in Europe, whether that be with people, products, economically, just whatever they need, to where we're less of a figure point than they are, to where less stress on the quote-unquote hit on US is portrayed.
We can help aid the European countries that have a lot of refugees coming in, and we could also accept some refugees as well. They're not all bad, but we're becoming more precautious with who we invite in.
The U.S. can help by opening their borders or handing out supplies, be helping in the U.S. Yeah, we'll help the refugee.
Closing the borders is an answer just to stop the flow so that they can deal with what they already have. And so, it's tough on the people that haven't made it out and that are still in danger, but something has to, they have to be able to take the time to make sure that the people that they're letting in, they can handle, because it's going to take a lot of work to make sure that not only are they placed in a safe place, but also that they're not endangering their own citizens by letting them in.
To be honest, I didn't know that was happening to that much of an extent. I thought it was just like 1 or 2, but it's kind of a sad, necessary outcome. Like, they have to, which is terrible, but they have to keep their people safe.
What do you think?
I think it makes sense because they want to protect their countries first, but I also think that not all the refugees are bad people and they really do need help, so there's that.
Well, Europe is closing its borders due to the Paris attack. So everyone's in fear, which they can close their borders if they want to. There's no law saying that to keep them open for the refugees.
I think Texas is doing their best to protect their citizens and not allow the refugees who could possibly hurt us come in, but it's just...
And the states not letting them in the United States, like Texas not accepting them, I can understand that because of the fear involved. I just feel like there's probably already that kind of danger here, and that we need to be helping our fellow neighbors in the world. I would be scared if some of them came and moved in next door to me or came to LaGrange, but I feel like, what are you going to do? Where else are they going to go? And the danger's in the world already, so.
I recently saw a video about that, and I'm kind of disgusted about it. I really am. I feel as if that's one thing we could be doing, an Add to Later answer. We could be helping people by giving them this refuge, but it's just like, no, you can't. It's like seeing a lady running from a man who's trying to harm her and then closing your shop door because you don't want that going on inside your shop. It's really horrible because you would do that to help the lady, but just because of circumstance, you're like, no, I don't want this dramatic deal to go on. If that makes any sense at all, probably doesn't, but...
I think that the states really want to protect themselves because they don't want another situation like the Paris attacks to occur here. But I also think there's some people that really do need our help, so we should open the borders for them. And trying to figure out how to do that in a safe manner might be difficult, but we need to work together to try and solve this.
So there's 50 states in the United States and only 31 are closing their borders. I mean, there's other states to go to if you want to come to the United States.